Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the OT Astartes, and welcome back to another Astartes Analysis. Now, we're done with all the Matt Smith annuals. There's some Capaldi ones as well, and some older. Look, there's my entire shelf of books. And one of my bookshelves anyway, with the Doctor Who books. Now, today I thought I'd showcase my Big Finish collection because it's the week of the 60th anniversary, and I thought I'd share a few of the audios that I have. So let's begin in timeline order. First of all, we have the Early Adventures, the IOSIS network, the ISOS network. That's it. It's nice how they have the Tomb of the Cybermen, and the Invasion Cybermen. What I also love, look, remember when Big Finish made their covers like this? Look at the banners there, the logo. That is what attracted me to the audios, because they were unique. Now, all it is just boring artwork. Like, they could at least put some effort, and the banners gave it some uniqueness as well. And each story had their own variations. So, let's begin with Unbound. So, a David Warner audio, Masters of War, featuring an alternative Third Doctor, the Brigadier, and the Dalek, and Davros. Two actors who are sadly no longer with us. You know, I miss David Warner and Nicholas Courtney. Yeah, I'm thinking about, he would have loved, it's nice that they've got Unit in the 60th, because obviously Unit was a big part of Doctor Who, but I kind of don't like how they're making Unit like S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, how the hell did they get like that after, I don't know, Russell T Davies is now like, I think he's now like Dave Filoni, in which he just retcons canon. Oh yeah, and on the Davros thing, what is Russell T Davies smoking? Is he on summer? Next up we have Return to Telos. Now, this is a two-part, the second of a two-part story featuring the Fourth Doctor and the Tomb of the Cybermen. Of course, it's one of my favourite Doctor Who stories, because it features the Cybermen and obviously the debut of the Cyber Controller. And I like how slow they are, and it makes them intimidating. Next up, we have one of the first box sets that I got. The Fifth Doctor box set. So, Iterations of I and... Oh. Yeah, there's a little tear there. Iterations of I and Psychodrome. Yeah, I kind of like the Tegan, Nissa and Adric series, because, I don't know, I think they made a good team. I know Adric was seen as whiny, but I know I kind of like a crowded TARDIS. Also, I like this logo as well. They did it for the 50th as well. Next up, we have the Memory Bank and Other Stories, featuring Five and Turlo. Then the slightly broken one here, The Reaping, featuring Perry and the Cybermen. I like this story. And also, yeah, Big Finish covers were great back then as well. Look, even before they introduced the banners. Then we have the Juggernauts. Of course, another Davros story and prequel to Remembrance of the Daleks versus the Mechanoids. I love how it explains some of what happened before Remembrance and where Davros was. Then we have The Harvest. Of course, with Hex and Ace. I wanted to find out what Hex and Ace were like together. Oh, heck. And then we have Bernice Summerfield. Bernice! Lisa Bauman was one of the first celebrities that I ever met at the Doctor Who Festival. She was really nice, I remember, because I also like the costume on this as well. I like his tie as well. I've also met one of the authors of this, or writers of this box set, so Una McCormack. She went to a Doctor Who convention years ago now. Then the first audio I remember ordering on Amazon, Revenge of the Swarm. So I didn't know exactly who Hex was back then. So I had no idea who Hex or Hector even was, but it's a nice introduction. Well, you know. So yeah, I like Hex. And then we have Damaged Goods by Russell T Davies, adapted by Jonathan Morris. And of course, two actors who have been in New Who themselves. So the first one of which being in Gridlock, and the other of which being in End of the World. And then we have Unit Dominion featuring Rain Creevy and Elizabeth Klein. I like this story mainly because Alex McQueen was the master. And I like how it's set in McCoy's later days. All I've got to say is, whenever I see Alex McQueen, I always think of that bit from the IT, either the Master or the IT crowd, and Matt Berry shouting, "Father!" Now we move into the Paul McGann era. Army of Death. Now, of course, this features Eva Pope, aka, as anyone who knows my channel, as aka Matron Bottomley in Hetty Feather. A very different role indeed to Matron. Then we have, I like this audio as well. This is one of my favourite 8th Doctor audios, Invaders from Mars. And then we have Terra Firma. Of course, I love this story as well because it features, of course, Davros, and Davros is near death. And I think the 8th Doctor's quite funny in this. I always find him amusing at times. Like, his sense of humour is just so sarcastic. He acts as though nothing is happening. Now this kind of reminds me of one of the action figures, but really, you know, it's not an action figure, is it? Then we have the Lucy Bleeding Miller Days, Blood of the Daleks, parts 1 and 2. Sorry if it's not clear. Yeah, by the way, Power of the Daleks, or the one where the Daleks came back, you know, the one with Captain Jack, they ripped off this, I think, because, you know, they had the whole pure Dalek war when really Big Finish did it first. Then Brave New Town, sorry, with the Autons. Then we have one of the first audios I brought, Vengeance of Morbius, featuring, of course, Samuel West and Alexander Siddig. I didn't realise who Alexander Siddig was till I watched Deep Space Nine. No, actually, either it was that or I saw his name and I was like, that's, what's his face from Deep Space Nine? What was the name of his character again? He was a doctor. Not Dr. Chuck was, that's Mass Effect. Bashir. Dr. Bashir. Dr. Bashir. And then Dark Eyes. Of course, Toby Jones returning to Doctor Who with Mally O'Sullivan and the Dalek Time Controller. The first box set I brought, and you can see that it's one of the first box sets I brought, I think. No, was it the first or... I don't know. Yeah, because it was the first, because I remember being really confused at how Liv knows the Doctor. Dark Eyes 2, featuring, of course, the return of Livchenka. Dark Eyes 3, of course, the Doctor and the Master together again. And Dark Eyes 4 with the climax, which has to be my favourite climax of this audio series, because, yeah, not just does it have the Sontarans in, but it has a final confrontation where Molly O'Sullivan sacrifices herself, and you can see that the Doctor is torn by this, and was torn even before because of what happened with Lucy. Yeah, and I like Lucy Miller as well. I found her hilarious. So then we have Doom Coalition, and can I just say, I miss Big Finish doing box sets like these with the banners, because each banner had its own variation of the Time Vortex, which was dependent on the colours of the art. That artwork is really good. Shame we don't see that anymore with Big Finish. And I miss the logo as well. There's a lot of things I miss about the old Big Finish. We all went downhill with Stranded. Then we have Doom Coalition 2. And I love the 11's performance. Mark Bonar's performance as the 11. I think Mark Bonar should play a Fabius Bile in a Warhammer 40,000 adaptation. If ever they have Fabius Bile in it, Mark Bonar needs to play him. He'd be my dream casting for Emperor's Children. So Matt Smith as Fulgrim, Mark Bonar as Fabius Bile, Miles Dobson as Lucius. What a lineup. Wouldn't it be nice if we got a Horus Heresy video game? Then we have Doom Coalition 3. This was actually my first box set in the series, and I had no idea what was going on. And of course, this had the episode that won an audio award because it didn't really have anything happening in it. No monsters, just the phone lines are faulty. Some cog is disrupting communications and dead people are talking to them. And then we have Doom Coalition 4. What I love about this is the fact that we got this all led to a massive collaboration between the 11, Padrak, the Sonomancer, and yeah, I think that was it. We had the Meddling Monk returning, and I love Samuel West's medal. Was it Samuel West who played him? Hold on, let me just look at the cast. Oh, I think it was Samuel West. No, Samuel West was Morbius. Rufus Hound. That's his name. Rufus Hound. Rufus Hound as the Meddling Monk. I think he was good as that. And he was funny as the monk as well. I love how he played it as to be a complete coward. And he turned into this big TV personality. And of course we have the Weeping Angels, which ties in perfectly with Amy and Rory. Then Ravenous. Ravenous one, of course, this got a more horror vibe to it, more horror sound. And the redesign of the Candyman. There should be a figure of this. How is there not? I can get one of both the classic Who and the Big Finish versions. Ravenous 2. Ravenous 3 with the multi-companion story. Big missed opportunity here. You could have had Lucy Miller in. And it was nice seeing more of the 9 as well. I like John Heffernan's iteration of the Insane Time Lord Criminal and the Multi-Master story. Classic Doctor's New Monsters 1. Classic Doctor's New Monsters 2. I'm happy that someone finally remembered the Vashta and Arad, because I think they're underrated in a lot of ways. The Time War 1, with the Eighth Doctor and Bliss, Agents of Chaos, featuring dearly departed Sir John Hurt and Jacqueline Pearce, and I love the Time Strategist as well. Technophobia. This is the reason why I'm not hyped. One of the reasons why I'm not hyped for the new Tennant and Donna return, because it's happened before with Big Finish, if you remember. You remember, everyone was excited about it. You know, Tennant and Tate were getting back together again, and it just doesn't work. It just, for me, returning on TV, it's just overhyped, I think. Then we have the Ninth Doctor, Lost Warriors. I love the Cybermen design in this as well. And then Torchwood, Gods Among Us 3. Bloody Val. And then the 50th anniversary episode special, The Light at the End. I got one of the special edition box sets, so it featured a little booklet. In fact, let's have a look at that now. And all the discs just fall on the floor. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that, folks. So if we look in, I like how it's all bamboo designed. And of course, the seal of Rassilon. And then artwork of all the Doctors and fact files of the Doctors. I like how it's from a point of view of the Celestial Intervention Agency. And this featured companions as well, odd companion pairings. Six and Perry. Seven and Ace. And 8 and Charlie. Wonder what story this was from. And then the Geoffrey Beevers Master. John Dorney himself, he's also a Big Finish writer. He's done good with the Eighth Doctor, I think. I like some of his stories from Doom Coalition. And then behind the scenes photos of the Doctors together. I think they photoshopped that Paul McGann one. The companions together. Hard to believe this was 10 years ago. And then even more shots of companions featured in this story. I've met Peter Purvis. And then Geoffrey Beevers again. And then the cast list and behind the scenes stuff. And then the companion chronicles and the description. Oh, my finger's all over it. And then companion chronicles and a little documentary on Big Finish. And nice shots of the classic TARDIS as well. Then the Legacy of Time. Of course, a big crossover episode, and then which eventually at the end featured David Bradley, David Tennant, and other incarnations of the Doctor. And then we have the ones up here. Now, I'm going to listen to Chimes of Midnight. Now, I'm going to listen to this close to Christmas because it's a Christmas story. And the end of the beginning. I was hyped for this story when it was first announced, but now when I listened to it, I was like, no, this is boring as hell. This is just, no, I didn't like it at all. So, not my favourite Big Finish story. I think Big Finish have gone massively downhill. And I decided to get rid of Stranded 1 because I found it just boring. Like, nothing exciting really happened in it. You know, it was just the Doctor, Liv and Helen living in this flat with people. I just didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. So, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. So, goodbye, good night, and follow the buzzards.